Hello everyone. I hope you are all well. I hope you're all happy. I hope you're all enjoying the summer sun. I'm filming today a video about YALC, Young Adult Literature Convention. I went for the first time ever on Saturday and Sunday and I had a lovely time, you know. It was a bit stressful at times, especially Sunday morning, but I had a lovely time. And I made a mistake because I asked on Twitter and I read a lot of threads about tips for first time attendees. A lot of it was take snacks, take water, take portable chargers, which I did. And then one was take a suitcase, and I was like, no, I don't need to do that. I will just have self-control. Famous last words. I bought many books. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know the number. If you don't follow me on Instagram, let's count along in this video and you can see the total for yourselves because it is bad. I did save for this event for like 4 months because I knew I was going. So I was like, I'm going to save a lot of money so I could treat myself, and treat myself I did. I got lots of books, I got lots of bookish merch, I met lots of lovely people, I went to a lot of author panels, which was really interesting, hearing them talk about themes within books and about their writing processes. So that was really fun. I met lots of authors and got lots of books signed, and it was just a really lovely couple of days, you know. I don't know what I was expecting, but it was just a really good couple of days. So I thought I'd come on here and show you the books I bought and kind of chat as we go. I was going to try and do it methodically. First books I bought, the most recent books I bought, but honestly, I can't remember what I bought and when because the couple of days went by in a blur, and I was like a child in a candy shop because I walked in and it was a little bit overwhelming because there were so many stalls and so many different books and things to buy. And I don't know if you saw the layout, but basically it was a long balcony around where Comic-Con was, and there were stalls either side and there was lots of people, and of course with lots of people comes lots of bags, so we were all kind of like hustling and bustling each other because there were stalls either side and there was an aisle down the middle, so it was quite busy. There was quite a lot to see. It was quite overwhelming, and it took like the full 2 days I think for me to actually see everything and properly take in everything, but it was fantastic. Yeah, but because of that, when I walked in, I was literally like, yep, give me that book, I'll take that book, yeah, I'll take that, I'll take this, I'll take that, and I've actually forgotten half the books I bought. So this will be a haul for me as well as you, because I forgot what I have, and so I can't possibly remember what books I bought in what order, so I'm just going to go through in the order they are scattered around me. And then we've also got a bag of non-bookish things. In fact, do you want to do the non-bookish things first, or should we do the bookish things first? I think let's do the books first, and then the non-bookish things after, as in not books, but book related. Does that make sense? So the first book I have is volume 2 of Lore Olympus. I don't actually own volume 1, but I wanted a Hades pin, so I just bought volume 2 because I know I'm going to love this graphic novel series because I love anything ancient history, as you can see from my shelf behind me. I love all like Greek myth retellings. I love all of that, but so they sold out of volume 1. So I bought volume 2, but I'm really excited to read this. I really need to get volume 1. I'm going to wait and get it on payday, but I am really excited to read them back to back because they are graphic novels. They'll be nice and like quick, easy reads for me. When I find the Hades pin, I will show you, but basically it's a little pin of Hades there. But yeah, that was my first book. So the second book that I have in this pile next to me is one that is signed. I'm trying to find the first one that goes with it, which is right here. So the second book is The Gifts That Bind Us, which is the sequel to All Our Hidden Gifts, and they are both by Caroline O'Donoghue. I read all these hidden gifts last year and I loved it. It's about like tarot reading and magic, and it's got a gorgeous story, and it's got really natural representation in it with a non-binary character, so it's a really lovely story. And I got to meet Caroline O'Donoghue on her signings. She was absolutely lovely. I had a lovely time chatting to her. She really took time with everyone that she was getting to sign her books, and she was really friendly and welcoming and easy to talk to. I had on my Hercules jeans, which if you haven't seen them, they have Pegasus from Hercules on them, and she spotted them and she was like, are they Hercules jeans? I was like, yeah, because I love Hercules and I love Pegasus, and so when I saw these jeans I had to buy them. And she was like, oh my god, yes, I love Hercules. So in my copy of All Our Hidden Gifts, she's put to Layla, Pegasus Hive Assemble, love, Caroline. And then in my copy of The Gifts That Bind Us, she drew a Pegasus and said, love Caroline. And I joked to her, I was like, well, next YALC, when I come to meet you again, I'm just gonna have Pegasus tattooed on my arm. And she was like, I expect you to do that. I'm not going to do that because that would just be ridiculous, but I think that's absolutely hilarious. Maybe I'll pay someone to make that a temporary tattoo for me so I can just have it for that one day to show her next YALC. But yeah, that was really fun and I really enjoyed getting these signed. I really enjoyed talking to her. She's absolutely lovely and I love these books so much. So it was really nice for me to get them signed and to meet the author. So that was the second book I bought, this one that I took with me from here. But yeah, that was my second book. The next book I bought is a new book that's recently come out, and every time I go to Waterstones I was looking at it and I nearly left YALC without it. This was one of the last books I bought actually, but then I saw it was signed so I picked it up anyway, and that is Ellie Pillai is Brown, I think it's Pillai. I don't really know much about this, I just know like the cover and the title drew me in because, you know, is brown and I'm like, oh, that sounds like me, like my sort of book. So let's read the back of it together. My name is Ellie Pillai. I think I might be a little bit weird, but aren't we all just a little bit? Yes, we are, including me. Ellie Pillai has no idea how to apply eyeliner properly. Same. Or what makes people cool. Same. She just hears songs in her head and sees dancing girl groups, which is a bit, well, weird. Most of the time, Ellie Pillai feels completely invisible, and usually she's okay with that. But not this year. Maybe it's the new boy at school who makes her brain explode into rainbows every time she sees him, and also happens to be the boyfriend of her very best friend. Drama. Or maybe it's her new drama teacher, the one who seems to have noticed she exists. Or maybe, just maybe, it's the lie she told that feels like it's about to blow up her life. Suddenly, Ellie's misfit style, her songwriting, and all that getting lost in the music in her head mean everyone is watching. But maybe standing out isn't such a bad thing after all. And also look at the sprayed edges. It just sounds really lovely. And I've been picking up this book for a long time in Waterstones. Like every time I go in there I pick it up and I never actually buy it. So I decided to finally buy it and see what it's about. But what pushed me over the edge is that it's signed and it comes with a little postcard. So I like that. That's very cute. So yeah, I picked that up next. That was that. So the next book I've got to try not get emotional about. It's one I took from here to YALC with the hopes of getting signed. And this is why Sunday morning was so stressful. That's a story for another day. But basically Alice Oseman was at YALC this year. And I got to meet them. And I got them to sign my copy of Loveless. So on the inside, I think you still got my post-it because I don't want to take it out. It says, to Layla, love Alice Oseman. To get to meet the actual creator of the Heartstopper series that makes me so happy and brings me so much joy was everything. I got to talk to her for a few seconds. It was really quick because there were so many people, but it was really lovely to get to talk to them for a few seconds, to tell them what their works mean to me, to be able to meet the person that's made a book series and a universe and just works that make me feel so at home and safe and comforted. To be able to thank them in person for that was everything, and they were really lovely. She really took time with people even though it was quite rushed. You could see she really cared about all her fans that she was meeting, and that was a really lovely experience. So the next book I took was Loveless, which is signed to me. So yeah, did buy this book, took it with me and got it signed, and this is now going to be a very special copy that I treat like gold dust. So I went to a panel which was called, I think it was called You Don't Own Me, and it was basically a panel talking about feminism in books and literature and publishing, and one of the people talking on that panel was Natasha Devon, the author of Toxic. After hearing them talk, I was really interested about what they had to say. So they were talking about like how sometimes girls can be really bitchy and there can be like kind of a toxicity in friendships, but when you try to put it into words, that toxicity, you can't find that it's coming across that well. So it sounds like it's all in your head, but it is a real thing. And they were talking about how it's really important to find yourself and find who you are, and sometimes that can take you years and years and years. And there's that whole dual heritage thing where you're not quite sure where you fit in. So you're too white for one heritage but you're not white enough to be another heritage, if that makes sense. And so they had a lot of really interesting points which I found really fascinating, and their book sounded really good. It's about a girl who is in a toxic friendship and about like all the complications that come with that and getting out of that friendship, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I have been in a few toxic friendships in my time, so this really hit close to home. And in terms of the dual heritage character in this book, I was like, yeah, I feel that a lot as well. So I went to pick up a copy of her book, and she was actually at the table. So she very kindly personalised and signed that to me. She put, Layla, hope you enjoy being in, I think it's Luella's world. I think that's what that word says. Natasha X. So that's really lovely of her to have done that for me, and I am really excited to read this book and see how it is. Next book I picked up is YALC. I have seen this so much in Waterstones. I pick it up every time and I always want to buy it and I never have. So when I saw it at YALC, I felt like that was my chance to just get it there and then. In fact, that was the case with a lot of these books. A lot of the books I picked up was books that I'd wanted for ages anyway, and I just thought, well, while I'm here at YALC, I might as well buy it because they were significantly cheaper there. They were doing a lot of deals, like 3 books for £12 or 2 hardbacks for 15. So there was a lot of really good deals going on, which is why I picked up so many books, because when there's so many good deals and you buy them all, you end up with loads of books. So yeah, YALC I picked up. For some reason I thought this was a graphic novel, but now I'm seeing it is not a graphic novel. But yeah, this, I don't actually know what it's about. I just know that I've seen it everywhere and I really wanted it. So let's read the back of it now. Jane and June are nothing alike. June's 3 years older, a classic firstborn know-it-all narc with a problematic finance job and an equally soulless apartment, according to Jane. Jane is an emotionally stunted, self-obsessed basket case who lives in squalor, has egregious taste in men, I don't know what that word is, and needs to get to class and stop wasting mum and dad's money, if you ask June. Once thick as thieves, these sisters who moved from Seoul to San Antonio to New York together now don't want anything to do with each other. That is, until June gets cancer and Jane becomes the only one who can help her. Flung together by circumstance, housing woes and family secrets, will the sisters learn more about each other than they're willing to confront? And what if, while helping June, Jane has to face the fact that maybe she's sick too? So yeah, it sounds really emotional. It's about strong family bonds, which we know is my thing, or in this case, not strong family bonds, but then they become strong. So, you know, the main theme is like family, which is my thing. I've heard lots of really good things about it. It was cheap. I bought it. That's the story. Next up, this was again a book I bought really late in YALC. I bought this literally as I was heading to the door to go home, and it is a book called Home. It's about a girl called Leah, and honestly, like, the more I try and explain it, the worse I'll make it sound. Like, it just sounds like a really poignant, thought-provoking book. I think it's about a girl called Leah who just wants to find what her role is in the universe, and she wants to find out who she is. And I think she goes to a camp. I think it's like a preservation camp, like to help the planet or something, and she meets some really interesting people, and they really cause a lot of disruption in her mind in terms of it really adjusts the way she thinks, and she really starts thinking about herself and how she can help the planet, and how she has to think about changing herself internally before she can help things externally. I don't know, you've got to change your own mindset and make sure you know who you are and you're happy with yourself before you can do anything to help other people. The author was also at the stand, and he was telling me about the book, and he was saying how he's a philosopher and that came through in his works. And honestly, the book is just stunning. Let me see if I can find, like, look at the illustrations in this book. They are so pretty. The writing, which I have had a glimpse at, is gorgeous. Like, it's written beautifully. So honestly, I think I'm just really ready to go into this book completely blind and just see where it takes me, because it sounds like a really lovely, heartwarming, thought-provoking read, which sounds right up my street. And the author very kindly signed it to me as well. Put to Layla with best wishes, Mark, and he drew a little star. So this is probably my favourite book I found at the YALC festival. Like, as in the favourite book I found that I didn't know about before YALC. This is probably my favourite one because it sounds so gorgeous and so interesting, and I'm really excited to read it. So the next book I have is You and Me and Our Heartstrings, and this is by Melissa C. This book was all over my Twitter feed. It's been in Waterstones. I picked it up loads of times. It's been on my radar for ages, but I knew it was going to be at YALC, so I deliberately didn't buy it knowing I'd buy it there. This is a contemporary, I think it's YA book, and it is about these two protagonists here who both have cerebral palsy, I think they both have it. Okay, no, so I think Daisy, who's the female, I think she has cerebral palsy, and Noah, I think, has anxiety. But it's got cerebral palsy rep, which was my point I was trying to make. And if you don't know, my little brother has cerebral palsy, so I'm always on the hunt to read books which have that disability in it, because I really love to read other perspectives of cerebral palsy besides our brothers, and also disability rep in books is really underrated and is such an important thing to read and learn about and to just support disabled writers. So yeah, I picked up this YA contemporary romance. Now, I'm not normally a romance person, but this sounds really sweet and I really can't wait to read it. Next up is Hollow Fires. I'm about to drop that book. Next up is Hollow Fires by Samira Ahmed. I read her first book, Internment, and it was a very powerful and eye-opening read. And her first book, Internment, was about Muslims who are put into internment camps and how that happens and how they rebel against it, and that was a really powerful read, so I really enjoyed that. I don't really know what this book is about, but because I like Samira Ahmed's writing in the first book, I just picked it up for the second one, not knowing anything, because I just think her writing is fantastic and I really want to read more of it. So let's see what Hollow Fires is about. Safia Mirza dreams of becoming a journalist. One thing she's learned as editor of a school newspaper is that a journalist's job is to search for the facts and not let personal bias affect the story. But that changes the day she discovers Jawad. Jawad Ali was just 14 when a teacher saw him wearing a cosplay jetpack and mistook it for a bomb. A mistake that got Jawad arrested, labelled a terrorist, bomb boy, and eventually killed. But who was the young boy behind the headlines? With Jawad's haunting voice guiding her throughout her investigation, Safia seeks to tell the whole truth about the murdered boy and those who killed him. A powerful story of our times, Hollow Fires exposes the evil that hides in plain sight and the silent complicity of privileged bystanders who use alternative facts to bend the truth to their liking. So again, it sounds like a really powerful and relevant read. Her writing, like I said, really surprised me by how much I loved it in the first book, so I think it goes without a shadow of a doubt I'm going to really enjoy reading this one. I don't know if enjoy is the right word, but her writing style is fantastic, so I'm really looking forward to revisiting her writing again. Next up is a tiny book I've wanted for so long, and that is Galatea. I think that's how you say it. It is Madeline Miller's little short novella. If you don't know, Madeline Miller wrote The Song of Achilles and Circe, and they are currently, I think, writing a Hades and Persephone story, which I can't wait to hear more about. I wanted this for ages, but it's like $7.99 in Waterstones, and I'm sorry, I can't justify spending $7.99 on a book that's literally that thin. I bought this for £5, which I think is a decent amount to pay for a book this small. As you can see, the pages are tiny, the writing is big, so it's going to be a really quick and easy read. But yeah, I'm really excited. Honestly, I don't know much about this book, but I love Madeline Miller's writing. The Song of Achilles is such a good book. Circe was beautiful, so I am sure that this little novella will be the same, and I'm really excited to reading it. Next is a free book, because I like free, that is always exciting, and it's a little excerpt. It's the first few chapters of a new book that's coming out, and it's called A Fierce Heroine Rises, Fireborn, 12 and the Frozen Forest by Aisling Fowler. I don't know anything about this, they just said it's an excerpt of a new book, so I was like, yeah, I'll take it. So it says, I pledge my life to the hunting lodge. I vow to serve all 7 clans as my own, to protect them from what lies beyond. I forsake all blood ties and all blood feuds to offer up my name and my past. The hunters of my family, now and always. I swear before them that I will never lower my weapons in the face of darkness, nor allow tyranny to rise. So it sounds a bit Game of Thrones to me. Because, you know, that's like... Where is it that Jon Snow goes? Wherever he goes. It sounds a bit like that, but for, like, obviously kids. And I am so down for reading new books and seeing what they're about. So I guess when I read this, I'll tell you what I think of it, because that's all it says on the back. It doesn't say a lot. Don't know what it's about. We'll find out. It's got a gorgeous cover though, considering that's just an excerpt. Is that the right word, an excerpt? It's just like a little preview. That's a really gorgeous cover with the foiling. Next up is Bunny by Mona Awad. This I literally picked up because the people told me on the table that it was really dark, really creepy, really twisted. Kind of books I like to read sometimes, which makes me wonder what that says about myself. But yeah, I really like a dark read, as long as it actually is like a dark read, like it's not like lying to me and it's just actually really boring. So I got told this was right up my street, so I picked it up. I know this has been really big on Bookstagram and BookTok and BookTube and literally everywhere. I have not read it, so I'm excited to read it. Bunny, a dark read. Please don't disappoint me. Next Next we have another signed book, and I bought this after watching her speak at a panel about mental health in literature with Alice Oseman, and that person is Yasmin Rahman, and the book is This Is My Truth. I wanted this book for ages, just didn't get around to buying it. When I saw it was signed, that convinced me to buy it. Their panel was really interesting. They were talking about how the fact that they as a Muslim use books to write out their feelings on depression and anxiety through their characters, and that's a really cathartic and therapeutic process for them. And their whole panel about mental health and books was really interesting, so I really enjoyed it. So when I saw it was signed, I got really excited and picked it up. And what's really cute is they've drawn a little heart. So this book is I wouldn't say it's a sweet read, but it does sound like a really interesting read and thought-provoking read, and I'm really excited to get into it and see how I find it. Now we have a book called Most Likely. This is because I bought 2 books and I needed to buy a third one to get a free tote bag, so naturally I just picked up a third book. But this actually sounds really cute. It's about these 3 girls, all of whom we know at the start of the book one of them goes on to become the first female president, but we don't know who, and it is a story of them and their friendship and how they grow up and the experiences they go through and how they all kind of grow closer and then grow apart, and just how life really affects them. And it sounds like a really character-led, character-building, friendship-heavy book, which sounds right up my street. Next up is Yasmin Rahman's new book, and that is called Why Is Nobody Laughing? I didn't know anything about this book. All I saw is it's the same author as This Is My Truth. It's signed, so I picked it up and paid for it. That is literally my only reasoning. So I'll see what the back of it says now. Will the real Ibrahim Malik please stand up? Did you hear the one about the wannabe comedian who couldn't tell a joke without having a panic attack? Ibrahim loves stand-up, but he doesn't love his life. He's anxious and he can't share his worries with anyone. Not his family, not his best friend Dexter. Until he meets Surah. He can talk to her, really talk, but well, she's strange, mysterious. She seems to know everything about him and appears whenever he needs her most. But what if one day she's not there? His head's a mess, his family relies on him, and if he can't sort himself out, he's going to end up as nothing but a bad joke. And apparently Hotkey Books have said the themes in this book are comedy, family, best friends, and surreal. So this sounds really heartbreaking, but really heartwarming at the same time. Like, I really hope Ibrahim gets somewhere with his messy head, bless him, and I hope that he gets some closure, or at least in a better headspace than he is at the start of the book. So I'm really excited to see about these 2 books, see what I think of Yasmin Rahman's writing. I'm sure I'll love it. They sound right up my street. I'm really excited to dive in. And again, this one is signed, and there is her signature. Next up, this was kind of an impulse buy. I can read tarot cards. I say that, I can read tarot cards. I think I can read tarot cards. I have tarot cards and I read them, and like, they tend to be scarily accurate. And I do have some crystals, and I'm really into that whole like kind of spirituality side of life. I saw this book, Wild Card, and it is the story of like tarot cards and what the cards mean, and about just whole tarot as a whole theme. So I thought this would be really interesting and right up my street, so I picked it up to have a read. And the cover is beautiful, and can we appreciate like the illustrations as well? I'm so here for that. It just sounds like a really fascinating read and right up my street. So yeah, that was this one. I'm very conscious I heard the spine like cracking on that book, and now I'm really scared to pick it up again. Next up, we have another signed book. I know, all the signed books. It was so exciting. It was every book lover's dream. And that is Queer Up. This is I think it's a collection of essays, and it's basically a guide to love, life, mental health, and that in conjunction with being LGBT. Alexis Court actually chaired the panel that I watched with Alice Oseman and Yasmin Rahman about mental health and literature, and I thought that what they had to say was really interesting. I thought they had a lot of really interesting points, a lot of really interesting questions, and they seemed like a really lovely person, and their book sounded really good. So I picked it up, and it is signed, and so I really can't wait to read this. Next up is another book. This author I am mutuals with on Twitter actually, and they reached out to me on Twitter saying, because I'm a musicals fan, that they've written a book which is largely inspired by musicals such as The Greatest Showman and Dear Evan Hansen, and this book has a Spotify playlist of songs as well, which can be listened to in conjunction with the book. The 2 kind of work well together, which had me completely sold. I was like, I need to buy that book. It was at YALC. It was signed, and then I went and said hello to the author, which was so lovely. I got to have a chat with her and hear about how she wrote it and hear about her inspiration, and she was so lovely to speak to in person. And this book is A Songs You've Never Heard by Becky Durams and Ellie Wyatt, and I met Becky, who is who I spoke to on Twitter. And so this is the book, and here is the little signatures. So at the top it says, "Dear Layla, hope you enjoy, love Becky," and at the bottom it says, "Enjoy the booksicle, best wishes, Ellie." So that's really lovely. And musicals and writing, I'm sold. Next up is not a side book. We have got some variation, and I picked up this book because a booktuber I watch, a Clockwork Reader, she said this book was one of the most powerful books she's ever read, one of the greatest books she's ever read, and she hugely recommended it. And I really have similar tastes to her, and I really trust her judgment on books. So I picked it up when I saw it because I instantly thought of her, and that book is Darius the Great Is Not Okay. I think this is again another very character-led book, a lot about Darius finding out who he is as a person, and very much like we go on this journey with him. That's the kind of vibes I get from the video that I watched and about the back of this book. So it sounds like something that's right up my street. I really love a character-led book. I really love characters growing, and we get to see that through the book with them. And so yeah, this book I'm really excited for. Next book I picked up is Out of the Blue. I picked this up for one reason only. It's The Gay Little Mermaid. That's the reason. That is literally what I've been told this book is, The Gay Little Mermaid. So I picked it up, and I'm really excited for it. I've been seeing it in Waterstones loads, I've been wanting it loads, but I actually saw it and I was like, I need it. And I got the last copy on the table, so I won. So yeah, really excited for this. Next up is another book that I've always been looking at in Waterstones, just seeing a continuous theme here. Like all the books I've been thinking about getting, I use this weekend as a chance to just get them. And that is Skandar and the Unicorn Thief. This was sold to me as the new Magic Wizard series / the new Percy Jackson. This is the first book in the series. The second book's coming out March next year. Apparently there's already a film in the works. It's taken apparently the world by storm. It's a middle grade book, but it's been epic. It's full of magic and adventure, and it just sounds like something that I would absolutely love. We know I love Percy Jackson, we know I love City of the Plague God, we do know I do love the Magic Wizard series, but I don't want to talk about it. So this book sounds fantastic and epic, and I want to get on the bandwagon before the film comes out so I can say I was there from the first book. So yeah, I finally picked up the first book. I'm finally going to read it. I'm really, really excited about this one. How epic is that cover? I'm so here for that. Apparently it completely changes your perspective on unicorns. Like, they're not just like light, airy, fairy creatures who run around on pink clouds. They are like dark creatures. So I am so excited to see how this book unfolds and what it has in store. Next up, we have a book called Fight Back. This does what it says on the tin. It is about a school that bans religious symbols, and about how a lot of the students feel discriminated against and how they fight back. I think it's a middle grade book, but honestly, like, it sounds so heartwarming and powerful, and it sounds like it could be really inspiring, and it sounds like the sort of thing that I love to read, as you have all seen from my reading tastes. So I saw it, I picked it up, I have it, I'm excited to read it. Next up is a book I wanted for ages, and I finally picked up, and that is Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas. Every person and their dog knows about this book. Every person and their pet cat has read this book, except for me. I have Lost in the Neverwoods. It's literally right there, and I really need to read it, but I really wanted to read Cemetery Boys too. So when it was 2 books for £15, I was like, do you know what, I'm gonna get Cemetery Boys. So I've got it, I have it, I can finally read it, and it's hardback. The paperback was there, and they were like, do you want a paperback? I was like, no, I want a hardback. I want a hardback book. I love a hardback book. I know that paperbacks are easier to read, but I love a hardback book. So yes, Cemetery Boys, I finally have it. Next up is a book that has been on my radar. I saw it on Twitter. It sounded really interesting and thought-provoking, and it sounds like the kind of thing I like to read, as is the theme of a lot of these books, and that is You Truly Assumed. This is a book, I think it's about 3 Black Muslims. Yes. So it says, after a terrorist attack rocks the country and anti-Islamic sentiment stirs, 3 Black Muslim girls create a space where they can shatter assumptions and share truths. I've seen so many people raving about this on Twitter. I was really desperate for an ARC because I didn't want to wait for the book to come out. When I saw it on the table at YALC, I picked it up. I was buzzing. When I saw this, I got so excited. I was like, it's there. I need it. Please give me the book. And people probably thought I was crazy, because I was. But I have the book. I can't wait to read it. The last 2 books I picked up are very, very special. I got incredibly excited over these books because you can't buy them in Waterstones anymore, and when they came out I tried to get them and they sold out like this, and of course they are on eBay for 3 times the price. They are the special Waterstones editions of Cassandra Clare's books Chain of Iron and Chain of Gold. Gorgeous copies with like the special covers, the dust jackets, and when you open the dust jackets, it's got a quote on the inside of the book. She says it's got a quote on the inside of the book. These editions are so beautiful. Look at them. Look at them. They're so pretty. I was so desperate for these and I was so gutted when I couldn't get them. So I'm so happy. When I saw them on the table, it was the day that Cassandra Clare was there doing photo ops and had a panel. I was like, I need them. So yeah, I got them and I'm so happy I finally have. They're so beautiful. And it gets even better. They have both got signed Cassandra Clare book plates in them. Of course, I can appreciate that Cassandra Clare is a very busy person, so she couldn't have signed all the books individually, but to have the book plates to put inside the books and to get to watch her talk on a panel was absolutely incredible. The fact that I got to sit in the same room as the person who created the Shadowhunter universe, completely surreal. So yeah, I got these two books and they might have been my favourite find this weekend, getting to get these two. Everyone please pray for me that I can get Chain of Thorns to match the set this time, because every time I've tried they've gone out of stock so quickly and they've gone straight onto eBay and I can't justify paying £300. But yeah, I got 2 out of 3. I got them. Not to be dramatic, but I think that's all the books I bought. No, I've just realised I missed them out. Okay, these are the last 2 books. These actually are the last 2 books. The first up is All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir. I have seen this book everywhere on social media. I've been really keen to read it. A brilliant, unforgettable and heart-wrenching story about family and forgiveness, love and loss that crosses generations and continents. Lahore, Pakistan, then. Misbah is a dreamer and a storyteller, newly married to Tawfiq in an arranged match. After their young life is shaken by tragedy, they come to the US and open a motel, hoping for a new start. Juniper, California, now. Growing up as outcasts in their small desert town, Salahuddin and Noor understand each other better than anyone, until the fight, which destroys their bond with the swift fury of a star exploding. Now Sal scrambles to run the family motel as his mother, Misbah's health fails and his father isn't coping. Noor, meanwhile, walks a harrowing tightrope, working at her wrathful uncle's store while keeping her college application secret so she can escape him forever. When Sal's attempts to save the motel spiral out of control, he and Noor must ask themselves what friendship is worth and what it takes to defeat the monsters in their pasts and the ones in their midst. So that's what the book is about, and it sounds really interesting, really thought-provoking. Again, a lot of like character development. Just sounds like a lot of the reads I tend to go for and tend to read anyway. So yeah, I've seen this everywhere. It sounds really good. I saw it on the table, I got really excited, I picked it up, and here we are. The last book I have. This was a free book because at one of the tables I bought 3 books. I got given a free uncorrected proof book. This book is on sale September 2020, so it's actually already out, but I wanted it anyway because it sounds really interesting. It's called Even If We Break, and it just sounds like a really creepy horror murdery book, which is right up my street if it's done right. It says 5 friends go to a cabin, 4 of them are hiding secrets, 3 years of history bind them, 2 are doomed from the start, 1 person wants to end this, no one is safe. Are you ready to play? I'm so ready to play. I love a dark, creepy book. Oh, it sounds great. This sounds really spooky. That is the last book. Can you believe we've made it? If you counted how many books that was. Yeah, that's how many books it was. So, you know, that's fun. And now I'm going to go through the other stuff that I bought, which is the non-book stuff. Free tote bag, because I like a free tote bag, from Del Rey Publishing. So thank you, Del Rey Publishing, for a free tote bag. I also have another free tote bag, which is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I got this bag for free because I bought 3 books at their stall. I did a lot of that, as you can see. First up, we have a free badge. A lot of this is freebies or non-book related stuff. And this is from the Penguin stall. You had a choice of 3. You had Heartbreaker, Magic Maker or Thrill Seeker. And out of all of them, I think the one that suited me the most was Thrill Seeker. So I got a little Thrill Seeker badge. When I get a new lanyard for my work badge, because mine is currently broken, I will put that on my lanyard. Next up, I got a enamel pin from the Book Box Club, and it's just a little book with a silhouette of a girl on it. I think that's really cute. I got it for free, but I can't remember how. I think it was the raffle. Either way, it's a really cute patch and I love it. I think it's really pretty and sweet. Next up is the Hades pin I got because I bought Law Olympus 2. Look how cute that is. It's a little Hades. I love him. He's adorable. So very happy with that. I got so many free bookmarks. It's a bit ridiculous. Like so many free bookmarks. We have got Midnight in Everwood 1. The Embroidered Book 1. We have got If You Still Recognise Me 1. Chain of Thorns. Chain of Gold. Wild and Wicked Things. Retelling of The Great Gatsby. We've got This Witch Won't Burn. You've got Harper 360. You have got This Woven Kingdom. You've got Cinderella is Dead. Oh, and This Wicked Fate. It's double-sided. You have got The Firekeeper's Daughter. You've got Home. So this free bookmark came with the book that I was telling you about, The Philosopher's one. That's that free bookmark. You've got The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. The Wolf Den and the Golden Door. The House with the Golden Door. You've got I Kissed Shara Wheeler. Apparently I've got another Cinderella is Dead one and a Poison Heart one. Darius Is Great Is Not Okay. This one looks like a Titanic ticket and it is promotion for a new book. The author of Honey and Issue's Guide to Fake Dating. I can't remember the name. Adiba. She wrote Honey and Issue and Head Wars. She's got a new book coming out called 1,000,000 to 1 about some girls on the Titanic and chaos ensues. It sounds great, and there's a free bookmark that looks like a Titanic ticket. I've got bookmarks for a book I don't even know what it is. The other ones, I've got a free bookmark set for that with 4 there. I've got Skin of the Sea free bookmark. And then I've got When Women Were Dragons free bookmark. So I think it's safe to say I don't need any bookmarks anytime soon. Thing is, whenever someone offered me a free bookmark, I was like, yeah, obviously, of course I want one. I love a free bookmark. And now I have like 30. So well done, Layla. Next up, we have a golden envelope. I won this on a raffle at Hot Keys store. I'm number 13. What does that mean? It means that there's something inside it, which I already know what it is. It is a Witches Steeped in Gold signed book plate. I actually have this book. It's up there somewhere, but it's the Fairy Loot edition, which means it's already signed. But I think this is a really gorgeous book plate, so I'm going to put it in there anyway. Next up are some free stickers I got given, and this is, again, the other one's bookmarks that I just showed you. This is some free promo for that as well, and these are so cute. Look at the little ghost. I love him. So yeah, I really like these stickers. Next up is a free badge. So the book Home, which I have the free bookmark for, and the book for that the Philosopher Stole with Me, that is a badge that goes with it. And honestly, like, all the illustrations and all the artwork for this book is stunning, so I'm not even mad. That's a really pretty badge. Next up is this envelope, and from this envelope I have a few pieces from the same small business. I follow these guys on Instagram, and they're a small person of colour run business, and their items are beautiful. I could have gone berserk at their stall. They had necklaces, they had badges, they had earrings, they had candles, they had bookmarks, they had wax melts. I got some badges and some bookmarks, and the shop is called Ethereal Curiosities. I think I'm saying that right. It's like that. First up, I got this pin, which is Addie LaRue themed, and that is what the pin looks like. And it says, everyone thinks photography is truth, but it's just a very convincing lie. I loved Addie LaRue. I love this pin, so naturally I bought it. I also bought this pin here, which is a sword with roses on it, and it just made me think of like these Violet Delights, which I love. Let me hold it up the right way around. Yeah, so a sword with red roses, and I think that's really gorgeous. Next up, I got some bookmarks. So I got a Shadowhunter one, this black one with gold foiling of Shadowhunter runes. I got a Caraval one, of course, which says admit 1 to Caraval. To be used once to gain entrance into Caraval. Main gates close at midnight. Anyone who arrives later than this will not be able to participate or win this year's prize of 1 wish. I got a Caraval one, and I also got an Addie LaRue one. Their whole shop is absolutely gorgeous. Now, all their candles are like based off fictional characters, so you know you have like a lot of like A Quarter to the Roses themed candles based off like places or people, and their stall was really popular, and when you see their stuff you will see why. This is a print from, I think it's from When Women Were Dragons. It's a bit battered, but you know what, given the way the print looks, I feel like it kind of works with it as a vibe, and I'm really excited to put this up somewhere because it looks beautiful. Oh, I've just seen the dragon's eye. I love this print with the eye and the flowers and the snake skin scales and stuff. I think this is beautiful artwork. and I got given that for free. I also have a free book plate with that book, so when I buy the book I can put a book plate in it. It's really exciting and really sweet, and I love the little scales on it. I love that. Next I have a free early sampler of Alexandra Bracken's new book, Silver in the Bone. This is the sampler. Alexandra Bracken is probably most known for writing the book Law, which I have not read yet. This is what the sampler says. There are 3 magics to be feared. Curses born of the wrath of gods, poisons that turn soil to ash, and that which leaves one dark of heart, and silver in the bone. And that is coming out April next year, so I'm really intrigued because that sounds really interesting. So yeah, this is just a few chapters from that book, so that I got given for free. All free stuff because we love free stuff. I have an exclusive sampler for YA books coming out in 2023. So on the back here is a list of books, and in here excerpts from those books, so you can see if they take your fancy, and a lot of these books are actually on my radar for next year, so this is really good for me to try them out and see what I think. Last 3 thing, this is Bloomsbury at YALC 2022, and this is just basically all the books and authors and stuff they had going on this year at YALC, and I just thought it was a really nice way to remember what was going on at Bloomsbury. And Bloomsbury's stall was stunning. It was this big like back wallpaper of Bryce's apothecary from this poison heart, and it was beautiful with the flowers and the little jars, and oh, I can't even express it. I'll put a photo here. Stunning. Other bits I was mentioning about that book Home and the bits that came with it, I got a free print, and I chose this one because I think that's really cool. It's kind of giving me like open your mind vibes and the whole universe vibes, so yeah, I really like that. And I got 3 little cards advertising them, and on the back of them are quotes. So this one is the one that I think is like an ocean or a lake, and on the back it says, "This river is like life. It's much bigger and more powerful than you. So listen to it and let it move you." And that is a quote from the book. Next up we have the Earth, and the quote on the back here is, "If we don't treat the planet as our home, how can we protect her? If we can't protect her, we have no home." Again, a quote from the book. I really hope that I'm selling this book to you, because honestly, they sold it to me and it sounds incredible. And the last one is a girl looking out of her telescope with her kitten, and it says, "That's it. Don't you see, Uncle? We are connected. Everything out there in the skies is in here, in me, in you. We are made of stars and space." I mean, how magical and beautiful does that sound? If you're not sold by the book now, I don't know what will. And I think that's everything. Oh, one more thing, one tiny thing. I have a little tiny The Gifts That Bind Us tarot card bookmark. That's really cute. I love that. That's really sweet. I am editing this video and I realise there's one thing I forgot to show you that I got, which is arguably the thing that got me the most excited, considering it nearly made me cry when I saw it. So I'm going to show it to you. I got this Jackson Evangeline print. How beautiful is that? We all know I love Once Upon a Broken Heart. We all know I love the Caraval series. We all know I really love Jax. And I kid you not, when I saw this print, I genuinely cried. My friends can vouch for that. How beautiful is this? Look at the absolute detail on it. Such good quality. Absolutely obsessed. This went straight on display when I got it home. So yeah, I just wanted to hop on and show you that, which I also got, and this was also free. That is everything that I have from YALC. So as you can see, I had a really wonderful time at YALC. I'm running around like a child on Christmas morning, getting all the books, getting all the stuff, talking to all the amazing people. It was really such a lovely experience. I met so many wonderful people. I made so many friends. I got to meet so many authors. I just can't fathom what a lovely weekend I had. Like, I didn't know what to expect, especially as someone who had never been before, but I had the best time, and I think I'm going to go again next year if I can. If you've ever been, tell me how your experience was this weekend. If you have never been, tell me if you're interested in going. Have you got a book that I've shown you here that you've read and loved or hated, or any that you're interested in? I don't know. Just put something in the comments to make me smile. Otherwise, I will see you next time I do a video, which I'm sure will be very soon. Thank you all so much for watching. If you watched this ridiculously long video, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I will see you all soon. Bye!